content looking. Now this is just going to be a audio take. We're expanding and doing our thing. These are the Car Chronicles. So without further ado, I'm going to give you guys some audio takes, right? Being that, oh man, the parade ended so early. I arrived, came, I saw, I conquered. So I didn't really get a chance to do the audio takes because the parade went so fast, right? But I got some stuff that I want to do, and trying to become a bigger, better streamer, right? Let me just make sure you're hearing me good. Because sometimes the audio be a little off, right? I want to make sure you're hearing the audio. And then I'm going to give you guys the business. Give you the business. The business. All right, yeah, so audio is good. All right. So these are just audio clips of how people, white people in particular, are feeling about the death of Charlie Kirk. All right. Oh man. So now I can't go to Instagram. Instagram is being upgraded this thing, so give it a second, man. Give it a second. I was just on Instagram. Trying to find it. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. You like BBC porn. Okay. If that's the comment you want to leave. Let me see how. Yes, okay, so we can go to the audio now, yeah? Here we go right here. Here's the first one.
Here's what I don't. White men fight back. White men fight back. Here's what I don't understand. Looking at this rally where they're honoring Charles Kirk. White men fight back. White men fight back. White men fight back. I'm trying to understand that. White men fight back against what? Black people didn't have anything to do with this. White men fight back. First of all, what happened to him was horrible, but what does white men fight back mean? I think it was a white man that did this whole thing. So what are you saying white men fight back? Time to blame black people for what? This happened in Utah. There were no black people around. I've been to Utah. Not a lot of black people there, so I don't know where they're getting this chant from. White men fight back. Were you fighting back against yourself? All of a sudden, black people are being blamed for what? Now HBCUs have to close their campuses because of threats. Of what? Threats of what? Why are you f***ing with black people? What did black people have anything to do with this Utah All of a sudden, you conjure up black people. It's always black people are in danger. HBCU campuses are closing because they didn't do a motherfucking thing. That makes no sense to me. We're in danger now because we didn't do nothing. We're always in danger. It's always black people. Black people this, black people that. We're minding our business. And there are actually black people that are mourning Charles Kirk. They're like, this is horrible. This is sad. They feel bad for his family. that he has 2 kids and a wife, and they had to see that. But all of a sudden, it's white men fight back. White men fight back. White men fight back. Here's what I don't understand. Looking at this rally where they're honoring Charles Kirk. White men fight back. White men fight back. White men fight back. I'm trying to understand that. White men fight back against what? Black people don't have anything. White men fight back.
White men fight back, right? White men fight back. This is how they're responding to the murder of Charles Kirk, right? But like I was doing my live stream earlier, and I was like, yo, and thank you once again to Tay Echoes, right? He was not a Republican. He wasn't a liberal, but his father was a Republican. He was raised in a Republican household, conservative Republican household, but he was a liberal himself. But Godfrey was so spot on. That was Godfrey's audio, by the way, man. Shout out to Godfrey. White men fight back. So this is how they are rallying it up. They're around white men fight back. But like he said, white men fight back against whom? Right? Charles Kirk. And let me refer to this comment real quick. Hold on. Somebody left a comment. See, these guys will leave comments on your YouTube channel stuff, right? So this is how I'm going to start addressing them too. More, doing my show talk radios and car chronicles. So Rick, what is his name? Rick something. Riodine 6545. He said, what is the issue, right? What is the issue with disliking black on black crime? Would you have preferred if he was a supporter of it? Rick, if you really watch the live that I did at the studio, great live too. I just simply took a clip. But the clip, what I was basically getting at, Rick, was this guy basically used to mock some would say mock how the number one killer of blacks was blacks. And basically what I was saying is, damn, look at the irony. His death is a white on white crime. His death is white on white crime. A white liberal who did not agree, who felt that crazed over Charlie's views, took him out. White on white crime. So that's what I was merely stating there, Rick. But you, like I said, just like many, don't really watch the live streams. And what I'm learning about, the algorithm and putting out content, sometimes that's what you got to do. What I simply did, take a hot clip, right, and put it out. Especially when it'll attract the people like you, Rick. It'll bring guys like you out of the woodworks. And you will want to leave a comment thinking that I am going to debate you in the comment section. I'm not. But if you had watched the live stream, which like I said was a great live stream, close to 1,000 views for that one, right? You would have understood what that was about. Like I said, you didn't watch it. So, this is a good sandwich right here, man. Healthy sandwich. Mostly lettuce. Tomatoes, and jalapenos. Oh, Bowser, you're back. Thank you. Thank you, Bowser. Well, let's get to some more audio.
Getting tired of this. We're getting tired of.
Here we go.
People are getting tired of this. We're getting tired of getting bullied. Meanwhile, back at racism headquarters, I love this video of this white woman, this Karen, complaining about these black kids that are on a porch.
Wow. Go in the crib.
Go in the crib.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Go in the crib.
Go in my crib.
Go in the crib.
You don't even pay
Go in
for
the crib.
this.
They're like, yo, go to your crib. Go to your crib. Go back to your house. This is where we live. She's like,
Crib.
This is my estate.
Go in the crib.
this is my estate. Your estate. Fuck out of here. What is it with white folks just mad at black people live anywhere? If we have an address, you're pissed the fuck off. We have to live somewhere. We're not just magical that you call up when you need sports or entertainment or sex.
I'm just home.
We're not
I'm
these
just telling you I'm
ta-da
home. Go back.
Negroes. We have every right to live in places. Where the fuck do you think we're supposed to live? You come to a lot of these black neighborhoods, Latin neighborhoods, and gentrify them and look at them. Look at the people that were there like they don't belong there. That's just been your history
It's in the refrigerator.
of taking people and acting like
You
they
can
don't
have it.
belong there. You, seriously.
What's the other half
And
of
this
this
lady
one?
is ridiculous.
All right.
She's going, what are you doing here? What are you smoking weed? Really? She threw it in the drug part. White folks, you inject more drugs than anybody on the fucking planet. Most of my white friends always looking for drugs. Always cocaine, meth, with sniffing bottles in their nose, putting shit up their ass. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you on Section 8? Yeah, we're more white people on welfare and all kinds of shit and public assistance. As you can tell, all these MAGA people that are getting fucked in the ass, they're making videos like, I don't have my Medicare, where are my food stamps? Fuck out of here. And then she proceeds to come on the porch to fucking hit the kids, and they're minors.
What? Fuck you.
Touch me. Touch me. What the fuck is you talking about?
She got knocked the fuck out. It was
Yes, she
beautiful.
did.
And
I would show y'all
condone
that,
hitting women
but
at all.
I'll probably get to show that. But man, this is Godfrey once again. These are audio clips. Now that doesn't have nothing to do with Charlie Kirk, but this woman, right? This is the tone. This is the tone of the America, right? These kids were sitting on their porch, and a random Karen, right? A random Karen just went off. You heard her. She was going off on them. Right? They're just sitting on their crib. But Godfrey brought up something, and this ties in with Charlie Kirk, right? Studies show that more whites, right? This isn't a black or white thing, but I want to highlight this. More whites are on Section 8 and welfare than blacks. This is facts. So when that lady went off on that tyrant, right? The Karen. Right? The Karen. I wonder if she would have that same energy for her own kind. Like, now, when I was in Ohio, I seen it for my own eyes, man. It was like 8 Mile, right? Toledo, Ohio. It was like 8 Mile. These are facts. I even documented some of this stuff. I never put the content out though. But let's get to some more audio rants. Man. All right, let's get to some more. Now, this one right here is a good one. Pay attention to this.
Tyler Robinson, he's not black. He's not trans. He's not Muslim. He's not an immigrant. He is not a Democrat. Meet Charlie Kirk's assassin, Tyler Robinson. He is a white Christian conservative Republican male with a gun again. And statistically, when all of this was going on, when Fox News started declaring war, when Jesse Waters and Laura Ingraham, which recklessly tried to rile up their base that somehow the left was in charge of this. Statistically, I knew that this was probably a white male, as all shooters are. And this seems to be MAGA grown terrorism. MAGA is a culture that embraces unrestricted access to guns at all times. They want guns to have more rights than women. This is the don't tread on me crowd. This is the crowd that if anybody steps out of line to their dear leader, they get death threats, even within their own party. You can go no further than to ask Mitt Romney or John McCain before he died of a brain tumor. This is what happens to anybody who steps out of line with the cult leader. But Fox News and these right-wing influencers would have you believe that people like us that want people to have health care, that want a safe place for Charlie Kirk to have gone and done his job. I wanted Charlie Kirk to be able to go do what he wanted to do, even though I disagree with all of the hateful shit that he says. The world that I want to live in is a place where Charlie Kirk is not shot. And so what they've done, what Fox News and all of these right-wing influencers putting targets on so many liberals' backs, they've started a whole website about Charlie's murderers and listing people online and doxing them. And this is a homegrown problem. Donald Trump has the most divisive rhetoric that I've ever heard in my life. I've never heard American presidents speak out against their own citizens. And while all this was going on, these right-wing influencers were riling up, and Fox News was riling up the base and saying it's all these leftists. The Utah governor also revealed that there's a huge bot farm of Chinese and Russian bots that were in the algorithms owned by all of Trump's supporters. Utah Governor Spencer Cox said Russian and Chinese bots are stoking violence online in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. So when Donald Trump found out that Charlie Kirk had been assassinated, executed, killed in cold blood, he was meeting with architects about his ballroom. Charlie Kirk's killer, Tyler Rock.
Man, what's y'all take on that right there, right? She kind of sounded like Sauce, man. Charlie Kirk killer was homegrown, basically, right? He wasn't a Muslim. He wasn't a transgender. But I'm saying, somebody sent me something, and I don't know how true it is. I got to do the research on it. But they were saying that this kid was kind of involved with a transgender or something. I don't know. I don't know how true it is. I was, like I said, I was doing parade detail, so I didn't really get a chance to observe it. Cash 75, what's going on, brother? Man, this lady is making... Yes, that is courtesy of, what is her name? What is that lady's name? She's a news anchor lady. I think she's on I'm tongue-tied right now. Yeah, she was dropping the signs, man. She was dropping the signs. Hold on, let me look at the chat. You said, did anyone really know what they would be doing with Charlie Kirk was deleted? It's not Joe Reed. It may be her. Yes, but she was spot on, right? Look, she was spot on. She's spot on.
He's not trans. He's not Muslim. He's not an immigrant. He is not a Democrat. Meet Charlie Kirk's assassin, Tyler Robinson. He is a white, Christian, conservative, Republican male with a gun.
Ah, man. See, that's what what's the name needs to hear that, right? He said I was saying the wrong facts. You see, she said that too. Too bad she's not on live stream and he can't check her, man. Tyler Echoes, right? Not Tyler Echoes, Trey Echoes. Trey was mad. So look, she said, that's probably where I got it from. She said he was a conservative Republican. Trey was mad at me earlier for saying that. Maybe I got it from her, right? I think he was deleted by his own. Yeah. It's looking that way. Look, I got some more audio. Since you brought that up, let's play this audio right here. Hold on. Listen. This is good right here.
Look. Of you who did not serve in the military, these two guys are called spotters. So snipers use them to basically let them know when to take the shot. They also give them information like wind speed, direction, things like that. So they're positioned behind Kirk. The guy in the white hat, he's basically feeding him the information to make the shot more accurate. So that little thing he's holding in his hand, that's reading the wind. All right, and the guy in the black, he's going to tell him when Kirk stops moving, so he can take the shot.
Damn.
Right, so that's the hand signal he's using there. Right, so in the military, it's common for snipers to use spotters to basically tell them when to take shots and feed them information on making the shot a little more accurate. So you can see it here.
Man, I want to play these videos, but I don't want to get flagged, right? That's why I'm not actually playing them. I'm just letting you hear the audio. When you watch this video, right, this guy really went into good detail.
It's going to be breaking some foreign military, probably Israel or Russia, but
now he speculates right there. That's all speculation, alleged.
And right after this information is relayed, Kirk is shot. Yeah, this is some sort of a military operation or paramilitary operation for sure. My guess is going to be some foreign military, probably Israel or Russia, but who knows?
That was a good video too. I was going to play that earlier, right? When I did the live stream at the studio settings, but the audio wasn't working on these videos, right? So that's why I'm doing them now. And I don't want to show the actual videos because I don't know. I get it now because people are actually watching, right? They always been watching. But when I used to do a lot of content, my page would always get flagged. And I would always say to myself, why is my page getting flagged if nobody's watching me? Why? And then I look online, right? If you see some of the content that some of these guys put out, music, basically playing other people's whole entire catalog of content, never getting flagged, right? They used to always flag my stuff, man. But nobody watched me. But now I get it. People been watching me, man. Cash says, according to one source, the guy with the white hat signal was a Charlie Kirk friend. Yo, it kind of looked like he signaled for the next shot too, though, man. You seen that video? If you know what I was watching, right? If you know what I was going off of, this is deeper than that kid, and I'm hearing this too, man. That kid, Tyler Robinson, is not cooperating with the investigators. He's not cooperating. So what does that lead you to believe? Chat, what up, chat? What does that lead you to believe, man? If he's not cooperating with the investigators, does he have something to hide, or is there a bigger, when I say bigger, like who did he work for, right? Is he the fall guy? Things to make you go, Things to make you go, Well, let me see. I think I got a little bit more on here. I got a little bit more audio I want to touch on. I like this debate that Charlie had right here. This was a good one.
When a black person is murdered by police or at the hands of police, the bullet that came from a police officer's registered
on average,
gun.
how many times a year would you say a black person killed by police? The Washington Post's own database, left wing, 10 black individuals a year. So here's my contention. So you have a population that dads are not around, that is very, very murderous per population capita, that is very violent, more likely to be involved in gangs. And we, as conservatives look at that and we say, wait a second, like the problem is within the community. The problem is not the government. The problem is not the culture. The problem is not the history. Instead, really what needs to happen is black leadership, black pastors, and black dads need to go into the black community, and say, we're better than this. Cut the killing, cut the violence. Do you know the most, one more point.
Go ahead.
Who is, outside of heart disease and all that, what is the number one killer of black people in America?
I know about like diabetes, but
Fellow black people. A black person is far more likely to be killed by another black person than anything else. Black people are a greater threat to their own people.
How ironic, right? So I wanted to play that earlier. When he told that young lady, flipped around and jumped on him. Literally jumped on him, right? He basically said how the number one killer of blacks, all blacks, right? Per capita, per community, right? They produced the most murderers, but yet he was murdered by a YW, a young white who grew up with his dad. His dad turned him in with his mother, but yet he was so turned off by Charlie and what Charlie had going on that he murdered Charlie, right? Cass said there is no such thing as black on black crime. Barbara Napoleon says, really, Barbara? Really what, Barbara? What? Really what? Ooh, that was a spicy jalapeno. Got some kick. Really what, Barbara? Really what? That was Charlie. That's what Charlie did. Charlie pulls up. He debates. He says what he says, right? But it's just ironic how his actual killer was a white man. He said, you're being a criminal, taking advantage of the people around you. Man. Well, let's listen to this one more time.
at the hands of the police, the gun, bullet that came from a police
Which
officer's
happens
registered
on average,
gun.
how many times a year would you say? A black person killed by police. The Washington Post's own database, left wing, 10 black individuals a year. So here's my contention. So you have a population that dads are not around, that is very, very murderous per population capita, that is very violent, more likely to be involved in gangs. And we, you know, as conservatives look at that and we say, wait a second, like the problem is within the community. The problem is not the government. The problem is not the culture. The problem is not the history. Instead, really what needs to happen is black leadership, black pastors and black dads need to go into the black community and say, we're better than this. Cut the killing, cut the violence. You know, do you know the most, one more point.
Go ahead.
Who is, outside of heart disease and all that, what is the number one killer of black people in America?
I know about like diabetes, but
Fellow black people. A black person is far more likely to be killed by another black person than anything else. Black people are a greater threat to their own people than any other community. So it's not like white supremacists coming into these communities and they're mowing down. It's black on black gang violence.
when a black person is
That is
by
why
police,
now. Are you seeing why my video, Rick, and all you other people, right? He said black on black, right? Is the reason why they are being mowed down. And how ironic was it that his subsumized unaliving was white on white. White on white from a liberal. See, I got it right. A liberal. I didn't call him a conservative. He was a liberal. But I think Joy Reid, and thank you for correcting me, Cash. Joy Reid said that he was a conservative Republican. But Tay Echoes, I believe it was, Trey Echoes said I was incorrect, that he was a liberal. But he was killed from a white liberal, right? But yet, he did not like, or he mocked the fact that the number one killer of blacks are blacks, right? But how is the content looking, y'all? Appreciate that. You know, we're just breaking it down. I think I have one more audio clip to play. All right, let me get to one more audio clip. And then I definitely will be closing this out. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. This really is a little off topic, but it's on topic. This is about like how a lot of people are influenced by former celebrities now turned podcasters, right? But my whole thing is this, and I had this conversation with somebody, and I was like, see, you're such a program follower that the people who actually do the things that you want to do and look up to doing, because you don't think they're celebrities or they're not have been programmed for you to think that they're a celebrity, you overlook their work, but yet you try to copy it. You try to copy it, but you don't copy correctly. And then when you do not grow, and now all you're doing is sitting around day after day with no motion, you get real weird. You get bothered. And you start feeling some type of way. All right? Hold on, Cash. I'll get to your comments.
Used to do business with as far as music concerned. They do a freestyle talk about.
I think we as Americans outside of color should be very leery about what's going on.
Easier than I could go right now and do 3-4 festivals, grab the bread. Why would I go on a plane, fly around, be Bible with niggas, risk your life? I could risk your life and be somewhere different. You know what's funny? I seen it today. So I guess when I asked you when you was on my show, I guess he just seen it today. Choke No Joke.
Oh yeah, I did see something from Choke.
I swear to God, I seen it today. And he was like, Cam, my jaw is fine, da da da. I thought you was a rapper. Now you podcasting? What you doing? I'm like,
oh yeah, I seen him say, welcome to my world. You try to be like me. Yeah,
I seen that and I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to be like nobody. I didn't see that part, but I'm sitting there saying, bro, if I go watch sports and go talk about it, why wouldn't I go do that?
That's a fact. What I'm saying? And another thing too, this platform, you need personality to carry a show, bro.
Absolutely.
Not anybody could just.
You need personality to carry a show. See, that's what I think a lot of content creators lack. And then they be mad at the people that have it, right? And a lot of you guys want it. That's why you want to be a character, a gimmick. You crash out, you sell your soul, right? People that have personality is in you. You don't need to be a gimmick. See, a gimmick is for, and I think I talked about this last week, for the fake it till you make it types. Right? Fake it till you make it, right? Most of these content creators, that's what they're trying to do. They are faking it till they make it. And Canelo Crawford Fight Week has exposed that once again with a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys who claim to have so much viewership and people watching them, they're out there right now. They didn't put out no content. You know why they didn't put out no content? Because the content that they was going to put out, they wasn't going to have the access to go with the status that they want the YouTube consume. Well, I don't really call YouTubers consume, but they want their YouTube audience to think. So, like I said, yesterday was that weigh-in. That weigh-in was open to the public. And if you ever been to a Canelo weigh-in, it looked like the fight. He brings them out. And a lot of content creators did not get access. They would have been in the stands. They would have been amongst the common. But they didn't want to do it. And to me, that's some of the best content to get. Not the fake celebrity content when you have credentials or you have access to the floor. No, when you see what the people are actually doing and you can fan out and be like, damn, look at all these tens of thousands of people in here for a weigh-in. This isn't even a fight, right? But hey, what do I know? But the fights is on in a couple hours, man. That is why I'm trying to get all of my blogs out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. You know, this was an audio one. That's why I did not have the camera on, because I was playing other people's content. And I know you could do the audio a lot of times. But when you do the videos, you tend to get, I know I do. I don't know about everybody else, but I know my channel gets copy strikes and all kind of stuff. You know, they don't watch me though, but you know, I watch these other guys. They not only take people's content, they play music, they do all this stuff. They don't get no backlash. But I guess you know the saying, it's cool when they do it. A problem when I do. Cash 75 says gimmicks offer entertainment. That's it. Yeah, they've been told me I needed a gimmick. I'm like, I am the gimmick. I'm me. If you don't like me, you do have options, right? Well, I watch a lot of the guys that go the gimmick route. They don't last. Like I said, 7 years strong. How's the content looking now, man? And I never really wanted to be a content creator, but now I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I like just, you know, spinning the block and fronting on guys that I know secretly were in competition, were competing. And it's like, what are you competing for? You put out content, I put out content. What are you competing for? Do you manage fighters? Do you go to fights? Are you a talent scout? Do you try to facilitate fighters get in situations? So why are you actually trying to compete with me? But I get it. When you are a jealous fan, which a lot of content creators are. I'm talking about boxing. They are. Secretly, they're jealous fans. Canelo Crawford Fight Week has really exposed it to the highest. That's correct, Cash. You see that? Let me pin that, Cash, because I'm about to wrap this one up. He said, nope, you don't. You don't need guys that have gimmicks in any genre. They don't last, man. You're only as good as your last gimmick, man. You're only as good as your last gimmick, man. You know? Oh, you didn't know this was me? Yeah, this is me, man. This is me. This is the Car Chronicles, man. But I was using my audio that I wanted to use earlier in studio, but I didn't have it set up properly, so I used it now. I was going to use it earlier at the parade detail, but the parade went by so fast, so I didn't get a chance to. Man. Yes, we did. We did, Cash. We did. I talked a little baseball earlier. Shout out to, what was the guy's name? Troy. I believe it was Troy. He came into my live chat when I was doing the parade detail. I just got off of work, man. I went in, got a couple hours, easy OT. All right? And now I'm just waiting for the fight, man. Countdown. Probably gonna get my wings in a little bit, man. You're 50 miles from Crawford. Yeah, we talked about it. You're going for Canelo. I know who you are, Cash. Cash, I know who you are. You've been coming through frequently now, man. I appreciate you, man. That's why me and you was chopping it up on this one. I appreciate you, man. You're going for Canelo. That's cool. Like, I'm not the type. Like, one thing about the boxing community, it is very ignorant. It's ignorant. There's jealous fans. Like, and the shit is sad because a lot of these guys don't do nothing in boxing other than be a fan. Like, be a fan, man. They don't do nothing. But, like, I didn't take off as a boxing content creator, right? Because of Earl Spence. And they know this. I can't wait to see them in person because I still made it even bigger. But they were so mad because they lied on me and I never changed face. And a lot of his fans, right? One thing about Earl Spence, he has a strong community of fans that do absolutely nothing other than just sit on the internet, right? And everything that I ever said about him came to the light, and it was true. Right? It was true. He was an alcoholic. He had all kind of problems, right? They tried to always hide it, right? Look at right now with him and Derek James. Their relationship was estranged. Him and Charles, same thing. All these things that I reported on, spoke on, that I was blackballed, I was lied on. They tried to defame my character, right? Turned out to be true, right there. And all I asked for them, right? But now God has revealed to me, they are going to have to give me some sort of a monetary, what's the name? God showed that to me. But in the beginning, I was like, yo, all I want is an apology, right? I just want an apology because you defamed my $1 million company. I had a $1 million company. Jack of Fitness was a $1 million company. If they used my stuff, right? A lot of my stuff was used. And Earl Spencer was a $1 million fighter. That makes my company a $1 million company, right? These are facts, right? And all I wanted was an apology. And I was like, yo, just apologize. You know you was wrong. You lied. You know, you defamed my character. Just apologize. They never apologized. Fast forward, look where they're at now, right? Look where they're at now. Him and Derek James is in litigation over money, right? Over money. He said, you are a great neighbor. Thank you, Cash. I just saw something about Sugar Ray having a major coke problem for 3 years or so. Man, a lot of these fighters, you know, a lot of fighters are alcoholics. They drink. They do. They have that. We've seen Adrian Broner, Buster Douglas. A lot of these guys, they have vices, man. Because you got to think, when you fight for a living, you damage a lot of brain cells, man. You know? You damage a lot of brain cells, man. It is what it is, man. I'm trying to give you an hour. I've been on for 42 minutes. But I used up all my audio clips, man. You know? They have to deal with pain as well. Yeah. But Sugar Ray still looks good, though, man. He looks good for his age. Still sharp. You know who had a big drug problem? Rest in peace, Roger Mayweather. If you know, you know. Roger Mayweather, man. The Black Mamba. He had a big drug problem, man. You know? These are the car chronicles right here, man. But I'm not in my car. I'm using my other device. I'm just, I'm moving around. But I got that audio out. He said, hold on, let me look. All-time classic, Sugar Ray Hearns Hagler. Yes, Hagler Hearns was probably one of the coldest fights ever. Not a long fight, but cold fight. Like, that was like two high-level fighters that just, they forgot they were prize fighters. And they literally just had a bang out. It was mano a mano, man. I'm going to take your head off. You take my head off. All right? But it was a good clash, man. Hell of a clash. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this, I tried to get this in earlier. But like I said, when you are independent, right? Sometimes you're your own engineer. Things don't work how they're supposed to. But I got a lot of the audio on now. Maybe, too, the audio when I was trying to use it in the studio, it wasn't working. But I'm going to figure that out. I got to, mess around with that gaming laptop. Right? I must have did something where you can't hear the audio. Because normally you can. Right? Well, we'll figure it out. Trial by error, man. But look, this is the Source Experience. I guess because I didn't have the camera on, I didn't get no likes on this live. I definitely know I got the views. The people was in and out of here. Maybe too because I wasn't pressing the line. Because this more so is like, to me, when I don't have the camera on, it feels like Source Radio. right? It feels like Source Radio. Yes, I see, Cash. Thank you. Thank you for the like. I appreciate it, man. I couldn't be a creator only because I wouldn't know the equipment. Yeah, that's how I listen. A lot of these guys, they don't even understand. If they were smart, a lot of guys have skill sets via graphic design. They're good at thumbnails. They're good at making P files, right? But they don't know they don't have the gift of the gab. They don't have personality. They don't have charisma. But they feel like they could get through with doing graphics. No. I was telling Joe Dean this last night, right? I was like, see, a lot of people's problem is they don't know how to play their position. And then they get upset because they want your position. That's why you used to always hear me say, oh, you want my spot, Flash? You want my spot, right? And we watch this right now with Canelo Crawford. There are so many content creators that get put in position. And now when you are in the game, you can't produce because you don't have it. That wasn't your spot. See, a lot of times if you just play your position, whatever it is, and you're on a winning team, you're gonna win. But people don't know how to do that, man. Jealous fans, man. I got charisma and off that chart gift of the gab. Believe it or not. That's what's up, Cash. It's just me. I always been that way. That's what it is, man. You will probably be a hell of a sports talk or whatever you plan to talk about. Because that's all podcasting is. And then you got to just really, find your audience, find your niche. And then break it. What you got to do too is, right? See, me personally, right? When I was doing this, I always knew I had it because people would always try to emulate and never give it up. So that let me know right there, I was the influencer. Because if you see me do something and then you try to copy it and be like, oh, I could do it better than him. I'm an influencer. So you think you could do something better than me, but it took for me to do it, for you to attempt to do it. So I'm an influencer. And then I also knew I was the influencer when I was doing media. And I'm not going to throw the people under the bus because I throw them under the bus now with my content and I front on them, right? They always had a problem with my content, but they was constantly trying to, they're big up people doing the same thing that I do. So that's why I came up with the phrase, oh, it's cool when they do it. And then, this is how I really got them, though, Cash. See, I had put in so much media work where I had turned into somewhat of a photographer. So I had photography work. And I started learning the game, right? I would sell my photos, right? Certain people that I fuck with, right? I wouldn't even sell them nothing. I'll just give them photos. Like, yo, here, use this. But then, shout out to World Combat Sports. He put me on to thumbnails. So, I would have my photos. I would sell them. But my thumbnail will be on them. Sometimes, just where only I can see it. And I know it's my photo. A lot of people that bought them didn't even know it. But I used to have it like that. And I would see my photos to different people that I was selling to, right? They would post my photos, right? My photos, some of them will go viral. Crazy likes. Some of the people I didn't even have to do it, they tagged me, right? And it is what it is, right? But my photos will go viral, thousands of likes. Shout out to Shakur Stevenson's mother. Shakur Stevenson's mother took one of my photos. And everybody knew it because I tagged her. And she reposted it and it went up, right? But other photos that I don't tag and I just, like sell them. Podcasters, content creators, they love it. They like it. They comment. I'll post the same exact photo, my photo, Not only will they not like it, they try to act like they don't notice it. So then I laugh. I be like, yo, you're fake, bro. I know you're fake. I don't play the fake games. I just match energy with you now. That's why I don't fuck with you like that. You've been liking my content forever. But when you know it's my content, you don't want to like it because you don't want to acknowledge the fact that you're a fan of mine. That's why I created the Jealous Fan Zone. All right? I created the Jealous Fan Zone, man. I come across a lot weird and could take photos, but I think it would get into trouble. Nah, well, photography is the best way to go, man. That's what I do now. When I cover events now, I like to cover events as a photographer. But people always looking for me to interview them and stuff. I've been falling back from doing interviews. Why is it so hard for these whites to admit to having a terrible, violent gang problem? Well, that's a great topic. Great topic. Maybe I'll talk about that in studio. Yo, listen, great point, right? I say this all the time, not online, but, at work to different people. And I'll be like, yo, and they get mad because they can't even debunk this. I'll be like, yo, people always want to say how violent inner city kids are from the hood and all that. But I was like, when we look at society and history, the white man used to lynch people, string them up in the trees, right? String them up in the trees, right? These are facts. String them up in trees, man. Behead them. Do all kind of, look, how gangster or savagery is shit like that. Tie him on a horse and have the horses go different separate ways and rip them apart. These are facts. One day I'm going to do a live on that, man. I'll do a live on that. But thank you for bringing that up, man. They don't like to talk about that. When you want to talk about violence and being aggressive and barbaric, they don't like that, man. They don't like that. But sometimes you got to talk about that, man. See, I made it to my hour mark, y'all. Look, 8 minutes away. 8 minutes away, man. But hopefully I was digging the content, man. Maybe I'll edit some more to Charlie Kirk. I'm just chilling at the crib right now, man. It's nice and quiet. My kids are next door. But I told them I was home. I could have been grimy and still acted like I was at work, right? Lied. But that's like an unresponsible dad move, right? I could have been acting like I was still doing parade duty and shit, right? Man, appreciate that. What is your name? Virtual Industry says, awesome content, OG. Well, we're learning. We're growing. My nephew, man, I show speed, man. I watch him, man. I watch him in class tonight. I'm a little too old to go to streaming university, but they give me little gems. They tell me I gotta stream more, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just streaming more. And I'm streaming, to grow now. I'm not streaming to show no more. I show when I go to the gym, right? Now when I'm streaming like this right here, like if I turn the camera on, you will see I'm in my lazy boy chair, right? I'm lounging, but it's like talk radio for me, right? It's like talk radio. I don't get to do these a lot because, like I said, I'm normally running around doing deliveries right now. But being that I did the parade detail, I don't have to do no deliveries right now. But I should be, because the delivery money I cash out the same day. I do. I ain't gonna hold you. That's why I like doing a lot of deliveries, because I have that linked to one of my business cards. So I always cash out. He said, yeah, you always had good content. Very. Oh man, thank you for that, man. Let me pin that, man. Thank you so much, man. Cash 75, thank you. Thank you. But I'm just trying to get on my nephew's wave, man. So I show speed, man. Put me in that algorithm, man. Hit me in that algorithm, man. You know? I forget the guy's name. Was it Norm? One of the guys came through, man. The jig is up, man. They said me and my brother look alike, man. You know? They said I look like your father, man. They was like, yeah, you look like I show speed. I was like, don't let them know that, man. They want to say I look like Beetlejuice, man. But yo, Beetlejuice is a viral character, man. I don't mind that, man. Give me that Beetle money, man. Howard Stern, man. Bring me on the show, man. Howard Stern, if you are hearing this, your people are hearing this. Beetlejuice likes to box. I know he would never fight me because it wouldn't be a fair fight. But yo, if I look like Beetlejuice, Howard Stern, give me a slot, man. Give me a slot. Yeah, Beetlejuice is the man. Beetlejuice is, all these guys, right? Yo, check this out, Cash, right? We got a little bit more time, yeah. Yo, Cash, these guys be all here. You know why these guys are infatuated with Beetlejuice? I'm going to tell you why on the low, right? The real Beetlejuice, right? Yeah, you know how much pussy he gets, man? Do you know that in real life? You know because he's been with Howard Stern forever. You know the supermodels. A lot of these guys that talk about him and how he looks. Yo, the women that he has probably touched. Half these guys that sit online and speak on him never even came close to it, man. They have a midget fetish. No, they know dude is rocking and rolling, man. Yo, Beetlejuice been the man forever with Howard Stern, bro. Forever. You know? Forever. And a lot of these guys that be having, like you said, they have midget fetishes. A lot of these guys are sick. They're weird, man. They're weird, man. Yo, last night, right? I watched the Canelo Crawford shit like mad times, man. Cause you know Netflix got the double episodes. I watched it mad times, man. Cause I was like, yo, it's here now. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that Netflix don't crash tonight, man. I think it's gonna crash though. I think it's gonna crash, man. He said, "Grandpa, hold on." Yo, man, I'm falling asleep, man. This chair is so comfortable, man. This is one of my comfortable chairs, man. I don't really get to lounge in it like that much, man. But you see, right now the house is nice and quiet. Like I said, my kids are next door, so I can really get to lounge and get comfortable. And I don't really get that time. I used to sit in this chair with a big bottle, watch football. You know, I don't drink no more, but I would sit in this chair with a bottle of choice and go in. No more of that. Right now, you see, I'm perfecting the sauce craft in it right now. He said, Grandpa Mustard from the Mustard used to get women too. Yeah, man. Whenever you have, guys don't realize that shit. Beetlejuice is a celebrity. He's a real celebrity, man. You know, he was a big part of the Howard Stern show. Right? Beetlejuice. He likes boxing, man. I wonder if he's in Vegas at the fights. There's a lot of people at the fights, man. I wanted to go, man, but you know where I'm at with it. I wanted to go to be a photographer, right? I wanted to capture some good frames, and maybe do whatever type of content I could have got. But I don't have that excitement no more about chasing boxing events like that anymore. My thing now was getting there, like being on the cards. developing a fighter or being a part of a fighter's team and situation and getting on the cards. That's my thing now. But hey, what do I know, man? I hit my mark. You said I almost went to Vegas. I almost went to Lennox Lewis and David. Man, that was a good one. That was a good one. Where was that? Was that the Mandalay Bay? Or was that the MGM Grand? Because you got to remember, the Mandalay Bay had it on Smash for many years. Then, you know, the MGM Grand took over. Where was that fight though? Was it in the Mandalay Bay or the MGM Grand Arena? I like Vegas for the big fights. Like, this is a big fight. When there's a big fight, the energy in Vegas is just different. The energy is different. And from the looks of that weigh-in yesterday, Mandalay Bay, see how I know my stuff, Cash? You see that? You see how I was like, what's that, Mandalay Bay? Right? I'm a real boxing guy, man. A lot of these guys, that's why they're jealous, because they're fans. They're jealous fans with no emotion. Right? But yeah, the Mandalay Bay was the spot, man. Now, it's T-Mobile. It's this time around, because Dana White and them were trying to set trip and do their own thing. The host hotel was the Blue Fountain, right? Normally it's the MGM Grand, right? And the T-Mobile, but see, they're doing it big. Yo, tonight is gonna be crazy. The fights in they officially announced the attendance and all that. I guarantee you they break records tonight. That shit is in a football stadium, man. I can't wait. What time is it now? Matter of fact, it's 3. It's the countdown, man. It's the countdown, man. But I hit my hour mark. Maybe I'll come back on in a little bit. Maybe I'll come back on. Because like I said, I'm not doing no deliveries today. I'm going to just chill. Like I said, I worked the parade. They had a parade going on out here, but it's over now. Today, you know, because it's I think this is the Mexican Independence Week. So it's Central American Parade Day out here. It was Central American Parade out here around my way in Brentwood, 5th Avenue, Bayshore, and all that. But salute to everybody that came through, Cash. Many others that slid through. Because it was a couple people in here. But Cash, you was the only one that commented and probably hit the like button. A lot of these others, they didn't hit the like button, man. They was listening. Because they're getting nervous now. The source is starting to get picked up a lot, man. And I want to shout out our show, Speed, and Kai Sinai, and all the other guys that are behind the scenes helping me out as well. But this is the Source Experience, the news by Shanewz, media, marketing, management, consultant agent, serious inquiries only. Mr. 15%. You know, you do have options. I holla.